see that picture on the mirror today?
No, I haven't. Everyone's
talking
about that.
Oh, and they're all in blue T-shirts with "Fuck the NHS" and Enoch was right and stuff.
No, they're not, are they?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, we were trying to tell you that was what's going on.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's like, come on, guys. You know, you can't do this again. We were there in the 80s, in the the sort of the 80s. We were there, and it's like we don't want to turn into that society. No, well, if they do, then I don't want to be part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the
like,
thing.
it's as simple as that.
And in a way, I think for me,
fair enough. Then I'll just leave. You know what I mean?
We're right in the middle of the interview already, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's the last man to leave already. Because I was wondering about that. You know, as a foreigner who's moved here, I'm living forever with this kind of weird, like it's this, I could always go away, you know, but you never do in the end, because then you weigh up the options, the other options, and it seems like, oh no, maybe Austria these days is not so, so much lovelier.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's like, what, so we just give away our countries to these people?
Exactly.
No, we need to keep talking, guys. Stop fucking telling me that you that you got this incredible mandate to change the course of history. You didn't. You won, but you did not win convincingly. And you need to win convincingly if you're going to change the history of a country, or the course of history of the tributary of history. We're no longer in the main river. We are no longer the British Empire.
Yeah.
So the realism is important. Mm-hmm. Global realistic thought. Globally sensitive thought.
Yeah.
Consciousness together to keep everything from running away with us, Now,
because the weird thing is, this album, it has clearly a very apocalyptic mood. It comes out at the moment where you don't need to create the apocalyptic mood with the album, because it's already there all around you every day in the news.
Precisely. That's that's the role of music. We should, that's why I don't like bombastic music in a way. It's it's the action scene from the Netflix film, isn't it? There's too much fucking violence on television. There really is. You have to take a deep inhalation when everything starts to become a bit more right-wing. It's just not a healthy state. It's like, I don't know whether it's conducive to good relations with people, No. I think this is kind of why it's like a letter of departure, a leaving letter. I'm leaving you. Who am I leaving? I'm leaving you, my entire family. And it's like, where do we demark the divisions between families? It's like, does it start with, you're my next door neighbour, therefore you're not in my family house. So is it the next house that is no longer family? Or is it indeed the next village that isn't really as family? Or is it indeed the next town that isn't family? Or is it the north of the country that isn't family? Or is it the fourth country in the distance going into Europe that isn't family? Or, and it just, where do we put these boundaries? And so really we mustn't put boundaries. My point is, everything has a rhythm to it, and this whole thing that happened with Brexit and the way it's reverberated to America, the way it's sort of flowed down into Europe and up into the, it was just the beginning. It was a button that was pressed in what I like to term as the Anglo-Saxo-essentialist crisis. That would work in German.
I think it might. I mean, I've introduced in lots of stuff that I've written the word exceptionalism, and that sounds horrible in German, but people have to accept it now.
Well, anyway.
But exceptionalism, this whole thing. This is it's really pathological if someone is so unempathetic and so unable to see themselves from the outside.
This is the point.
Yeah.
This is the point. So the unholy alliance between the working class of North England and Jacob Rees-Mogg is unacceptable. Because what are you two doing? Why can you not see that this guy, he's a devil. You know what I mean? Shh. You know what I mean?
But I love how you're being so cryptic talking about it, because in a way one has. I mean, you said the devil.
I'm
that wasn't
always
cryptic, but
cryptic,
before,
I'm
yes, you
saying.
always are. But can I ask you about a few lines that I jotted?
Of course you can, dear.
Out of the.
Of course you can.
Okay. Yes, of course. There's in The Last Man to Leave, like that I mentioned before. There's this one about the houses of joy and disappointment of the Windrush.
Yeah.
Street sweepers, leave your music on the other side of the pavement because it sounds better over there. We don't want you anymore.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, for choosing
The
that.
thank you is very important.
Yeah. So it was important to you, as someone who lives in this part of London and who's Paul Simon. He as I know him when I'm.
But I didn't write that.
Yeah.
I wrote that line before the whole Windrush thing. That was me, very drunk and hanging, going to my late night off licence, going through one of the pass through Mews roads with cobblestones, and going, the body, which is in a sense my kind of sort of my self-loathing, is following me around, and I'm going back, and I go back to the 50s. I go back to the whole Windrush, And when I sang the disappointment of the Windrush, I was referring, I suppose, I seem to think, in my very inebriated way. I mean, they're good that those Mews streets are quite short, because when you're going from one side to the other to keep up, there's only so fast my 50-year-old legs can. Anyway, no, it's their disappointment with the way that this whole area has just kind of lost that identity, because it's become something totally different. It's a product. It's a product of money in London. In a way, I mean, I just hope I'm just questioning everybody's existence. You know what I mean? It's like
Now, particularly
my own included. Sort of, in many ways, more than anyone else. You know what I mean? It's like, why am I part of this thing? As the body, as part of the body. I'm not talking about me as, Damon Albarn. I'm talking about me as part of the body, the physical kind of organism that is this culture. Because what's happening is so weird. What's happening?
Yeah.
At the moment, it's like it doesn't. It's almost like they're sort of they're too polite to say, well, we don't really want to live with you anymore. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. It's like, no, you don't really want me here anymore, do you? People like me.
Well, that's interesting. So that thing that I have as a foreigner, that feeling, that latent feeling of being unwanted, you have that too. And for you, that's even worse.
I've had that ever since I moved to Essex in 1979 from East London. Unwelcome.
That's interesting because obviously it was understood
in certain parts of the country, and it's not because I don't like them and they don't like me. It's just we don't have the same kind of outlook on life, and all I can say is like, can you just give us an opportunity to try and maybe, and I'm talking about the sort of the liberals here, can you give us don't wipe us completely out of your vision of the future? Because if that's what you want, you literally don't want. You want to get rid of art music in schools. You want to get rid of art lessons in schools. You want to get rid of our brilliant history of cultural intervention. You want to get rid of all of that. Well, this is how you do that. This is how you drain a country of that, and you just think, well, why are we having Brexit? Why are we having Brexit? Because you're like going to lose.
But there's a visceral hatred of it, isn't there? That comes all the way from the founding of the public schools, where they thought, the young gentlemen are being taught by these decadent people who speak foreign tongues and read far too much books, so we better put them in public schools, which are all about sports and obedience.
Absolutely.
It's a really deep-seated, anti-artistic,
exactly.
anti-intellectual feeling, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. And that's just, as an artist, I'm obviously going to object to that.
Yeah. I think that's what unites the recent Mogs and the Meatheads, is that anti-effeminate, anti-artistic, man-up sort of thinking that goes through this Brexit, get on with it
Yeah, I know.
thing.
But they don't respect us.
Yeah.
So if you don't respect us, we're not going to not respect you, but we're going to demand our place at the table to talk about this.
Yeah. Now, there's
the simplest way to do that, it seems to me, is to have a second referendum. Yes, that is a dangerous precedent to set, but I think the first referendum has clearly demonstrated that was an equally dangerous precedent to set. To claim a mandate on nothing, hardly. Not when you're talking about a country moving into a new fucking epoch of its, or era of its existence.
There's a song, The Great Fire, which obviously, because of recent history, I had to think of Grenfell first, but it's not. It's Blackpool, isn't it? Or could it be any seaside town?
It's that it's coming off. It's like Blackpool. It's like coming off the out of the countryside and then going in to the backside of, so to speak, excuse my English, of Blackpool, and then at some point you start to see the lights at the seafront, and then you arrive in all of that glamour on our Saturday night.
It's a glamour, but it feels really dark, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. The deep dead laughter of the yellow stars. That's the lights. Yeah. And I was wondering, with that and the other thing where you're in Dreamland in Margate, where you have that wonderful line of the glassy-eyed demography, because I know what it looks like in Margate when you go along the seafront and you see these shattered people.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, 100%.
And the lines.
I'm glad that it's working for people.
It
you know
is,
what I mean?
Yeah. But I was wondering, our place of optimism in Kelms of England is Brexit in a line. Yeah.
And
it's terrible because
that's more like me at part life. You know what I mean? I have that. I still can't resist to
and
be.
You've got lots of Eastern European carers in the back of your mind while you read.
Of course. They're like they're all going Brexit, and people are going bye. See, they're gonna be left there like, who's going to look after me now, Deirdre? It's an outrage. What? The what? Brexit? I don't remember it. It's like, where's my kids? You know what I mean? It's like it's that mad. They're fucking mad, thinking that this is cool.
You've got Blackpool, you've got Margate, you've got this isn't the London record. This is a record that travels around.
Yes.
Did you write this stuff while you were on the traveling around the way you went to North Korea? You went through Britain the same way and looked at it.
I went to North Korea with my daughter. I took my daughter.
Oh.
We went on a father-daughter road trip to North Korea.
What, now again?
Yeah, this summer.
That's where all the posters are from.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know what I'm asking you about now. Am I asking you about your summer trip to North Korea, or am I asking you about my facile comparison about that it seems like you travelling around Britain with the same observational,
exactly the same. Exactly the same. It's sort of part of the problem. How we arrived in this mess as a country is because, we have this sort of idea that we have to sort of look outwards, which is an important idea that needs to be. But unfortunately, if you're endlessly looking outwards, you forget what's around you. And there's been a tendency for areas of Britain to be totally ignored, for one reason or another, and that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
But people are pissed off. When people are pissed off, when they feel, and that really needs to be addressed more than anything. You can brush stuff under the carpet for a long time, but at some point you'll see a huge, great bump, and we we have a huge, great bump under our carpet, and we need to, sort it out.